alzando la voz de la gloria eterna, llamando tu nombre, dejando tu historia grabada en los hombres. Juan Sabelo todo deportes presente en la acción, sintiendo cada golpe dentro del corazón. Round tras round la historia se escribe, cada golpe dado es prueba de lo que vive. Caer y levantarse, esa es la misión. El ring decide quién tiene el corazón, mirada fija, nadie quiere caer. El público grita, se siente el poder, no hay distracciones, solo conexión entre mente, cuerpo y determinación. Siente el silencio antes del final, un último golpe puede decidir más. No hay rendición, no hay marcha atrás, solo el más fuerte se va a quedar. Esto no es un juego.
Trying to get over the top in this one.
Yeah, her debut for season 4, and she hasn't been in the ring since August of 2025, when in TBL she lost to Julie Rodriguez, and her overall record's 2-6, and she's on a 5-fight loss streak. But the interesting thing is Bianca Ortega, who's 0-3, has yet to win in TBL, so somebody is going to get off the snide tonight.
All right, so two fighters who believe they have an excellent chance to win based on whether it's the O for their opponent or the layoffs. 1 point if you win a decision, 2 points for a knockdown, 2 knockdowns, 3 points, and 4 knockout, TKO, DQ, or forfeit. And the fastest way we've seen, and a lot of fighters able to do this, get 1 knockdown and then put the pressure on and the referee calls it off.
Big right hand landed by Robertson just a moment ago, and her and Ortega are very similar stylistically. Both are doing a lot of the same things, but the right hand for Robertson was able to sneak in. The Brisbane, Australia fighter.
Yeah, decorated amateur, and even appeared in a reality show called Hunted way back when she was 12 years old. So the calling seems like it's always been there for her to perform.
And right now her pro experience is showing. Bianca Ortega has never had a professional fight outside of the TBL. She had a little more limited amateur experience. She had some good moments, but she is taking it on the chin right now from Taylor Robertson, who, as you said, more experienced.
Yeah, and the good balance that Taylor Robertson has, and the poise. And this is a fighter that Miami would really love to get going and in full swing for the playoffs.
And you know, 4 of those 6 losses that she has in TBL were to Julie Rodriguez, who's 19-1. So it wasn't like her losses have come to anybody bad, and she is performing brilliantly here so far in this fight against Ortega.
Good body work that she's doing here, throwing the hooks, moving. Ortega trying to come back at her, but Robertson has gotten off the mark first here tonight.
Ortega has taken some big shots. She's hung in there, not been hurt, I don't think, but unfortunately she hasn't been able to get scoring done. Ortega landed right hand there, one of the few she's been able to get in.
Ortega having trouble getting past this Robertson jab. And there's a glimpse of what it could have been. Just a glancing right hand.
Yeah, she's thrown that lead right hand, Ortega, and gotten it in occasionally, but the Robertson right landing after that jab that you referenced. Well, Taylor Robertson back with the TBL since August of last year. Her first performance in season 4, and it was a good one. There's the right hand that landed. There's another one. She was able to get that punch in partially because she used the jab so well to set it up. And she might have gotten Miami off to a good start here.
Stylistically, it sure did look that way. Let's see how they decided to make it official.
TBL fans, the winner of round 1 by way of unanimous decision From Miami, Taylor Robertson.
All right, so Taylor Robertson gets a nice win for herself against
Round
Miami.
2 at
Off to a
featherweight,
good
Nashville,
start.
Leandric Josh Johnson. Miami, Victor Abreu.
And the aptly decided round to watch. Johnson split with Abreu on May 31st. Abreu 3 wins in a row, 9-4 this year. 31-year-old native of Miami. So Abreu doing some of his best work right now.
Yeah, he is fighting very well. He's ensconced in that number 2 spot for Miami. They like him there. They feel it helps him get off to a good start. And these men are 3-3 overall against each other in TBL. So they should be very evenly matched.
Take a look at the featherweight division. And there's Josh Johnson right at the top and Abreu right there.
Yeah.
2 of the top names in the division going at it right now.
2 of the best in the division, and when you look at their records, 7-2 for Johnson this year, and it's 9-4 as you mentioned for Abreu. So we're looking at 2 men that are very near the top of that. Johnson's a good combination puncher when he gets his hands moving. And he's got very quick hands. But Abreu is a solid defender. You see that high guard. He's not that easy to hit. And for fighters who are aggressive, sometimes they are easier to hit.
Yeah, and these are guys who arguably are doing their best work ever in TBL right now.
Yeah, Johnson was 9-9 last season, 7-2 this year. So he's definitely improved, as has Abreu. Nice right hand by Abreu. He's the kind of fighter that wants to come forward always.
He came forward behind the jab there and just missed scoring with the right hand.
Johnson has been, I think, a little more economical with his punches than we used to see, right? I mean, this year we've seen him throw lots of combinations, more singular punches tonight.
Yeah, we've seen aggression from him. We've seen knockdowns from him.
He had a knockout against Bailey.
So this is something where, stylistically, neither fighter wanting to gamble off the safety spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, Abreu has come forward. He's been a little bit more of a risk taker, but not that much more. You can make a strong case this round is there to be had still for either man.
And with 30 seconds to go, have a short memory. Just decide that you're going to go and put a couple things together and walk off with this round.
Abreu is trying to attack more. Johnson, slipping on most of those punches and some falling short. Now Johnson wants to get busy. You can feel it.
Yeah, we're going to run out of time in this one. Overall, Abreu pushed the pace more, but the fight was so low scoring as far as the actual connections that you can make an argument.
And what notes did they take for their second meeting, which will be in the money rounds? Here's where the right hand of Johnson got in there. Abreu using his jab, and he had used it a lot to penetrate through. We'll see. This could be a close decision.
TBL fans, the winner of round 2 by way of split decision. From Nashville, Leandric Josh Johnson.
So Josh Johnson pulls Nashville even.
Round 3 at featherweight, Nashville, Shelby Cannon.
That was a big get for that
Miami,
team.
Samantha Ginnathan.
All right, Shelby Cannon, 3-2. beat Kaylee Knight and Chantel Somrell in recent outings. And Samantha Ginnathan has been on a roll, won 6 in a row, 9-1 run. And since moving down from 140 down to here at 126 has been a force.
Yeah, we have seen, like Erica Sanchez, when she moved down from 140 to 126. Ginnathan has had the same kind of success. And Shelby Cannon, the 35-year-old, who is a bare-knuckle fighter, we've seen her develop. She's 3-2 now this season, her debut season in TBL, and we've seen her improve, you know, as a regular boxer. But this is a tall task for her against fellow southpaw Ginnathan.
The 2023 National Golden Gloves champion. All types of credentials for her. Total net points of +10 as she has been a machine for Miami and a dependable force up on top.
By far her best season in TBL.
One of Dave's blue-collar fighter honorees. We had that about a few weeks ago. We'll be having another one.
And rightfully so. Yeah, I can't wait this weekend. We're going to get to see you feature again. Cannon has a disadvantage in height and reach, but she feels like she can get on the inside and get that left hand in.
Yeah, and toward the point you made earlier about her trying to find some polish when she comes in and not just rushing in. You see it with her head movement. You see it with a little bit of the things she's trying to do. She's not just firing. She's trying to do some work before.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw, you know, we saw evidence of that her last time out when she beat Chantel Somrell and Kaylee Knight. We saw some of that.
And it's not easy to come over from another discipline in which these type of things are not honored.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right. You know, Ginnathan, sometimes, like in this round, there's a really good straight left hand. I was going to say, she is one of those fighters, when we see them in team boxing, about 1 minute and 20 seconds into the round is when they really start. And that's what she's doing, right? There's a mental clock that they have, and boom, all of a sudden, there they go.
And the sense of pouring it on to the finish line. And there are a couple perceptions about, do you want to do it that way, or do you want to try to go all out for 3 minutes? You don't have much time to work with.
Yeah, and some people just control the tempo for 3 minutes, and they don't have to do as much offensive. But Ginnathan is getting a lot done here now in the last minute or so of this round.
And the key to that strategy, if you want to be loyal to it, is to be certain that you're still in the fight and very close with that minute 20 to go. And she has succeeded in that part of it. And now she has Cannon against the ropes, and Ginnathan has done her best work in the final minute.
Ginnathan, the only woman boxer with a winning record on Miami, though Samantha Sosa is 500, and we'll see her in a while. But Shelby Cannon happy with her work there, but it would be surprising if Ginnathan didn't get this decision, and we'll see some of the evidence why. There's Cannon early in the round trying to get the left hand in, but Ginnathan landed some really good shots like that straight left hand. And Ginnathan has shown us power during the course of this year as well. A knockdown of Maria Antoinez earlier in the year, so she's got some pop in her punches.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 3 by way of split decision, from Nashville, Shelby Cannon.
Okay.
Mark that one up in the surprise division.
Interesting.
Round 4 at
that minute 20,
big for Nashville.
Diaz, Miami, Yustiel, Nápoles.
Diaz and Napoles getting ready. Diaz is 9-0 outside TBL. Last fight there, 2024. Lost the last two to Traquan Pettis in this circuit. And Napoles is on a 12-1 run. 12-1 run. Came off a win over Roger Hilly last time.
Yeah, he's a top point producer in this league, and has a huge right hand, Napoles. That and there you see the point situation, and he's right at the top.
And De La Cruz has the only victory against him in that run, and he's in the second spot. So Miami has a lot of fighters that will show up. When you look at these graphics tonight about the leaderboards, there'll be a lot of Miami fighters on them, and that's really something you like as a team going into the postseason. The depth that you have about being in the top ranks.
Now Diaz, with those split decision losses to Pettis, feels like he could have gotten one in there, but he didn't quite do enough. And he showed some defensive liabilities. Now he's 9-0 as a pro outside of TBL, so he's a solid fighter, but his defensive liabilities hurt him a little bit against Pettis. We'll see how he does against Napoles. You better have good defense against Napoles, or you could end up on the mat. Good hook by Diaz, though. He snuck that one in.
There's Napoles trying to find a spot for her left hook to the body, which he scores with.
And when you watch Napoles fight, even though he's got a very good left hook, you're always thinking about when that right hand is going to come in. That's part of how he knocked down Malik Lark and Jeremy Hill, and the knockout of Pettis that he got. So it's an issue. And if you're Reyes, you got an interesting evening. You're fighting this right-handed power puncher, and then later on, you're going to get a clever lefty like Claudio Moreira.
And your coaches have to have a lot of faith in you to put you in two different styles and two very good fighters.
Now this has been a tactical round. We haven't seen a big power outburst from either man. There's Napoles' right hand. There's the jab of Napoles.
Napoles trying to walk him down here, cut it off, and then throw the left hook, which got blocked, and the jab behind it. Lesson has to resonate for the fighters on both teams. The first time anybody sees a decision that they didn't agree with, they say, wait a minute, we better go all out here.
Yep.
And not let it be that.
It's a very good point. And Napoles didn't really do that there. He fought well, and we'll see. There's Reyes blocked the left hook from Napoles, and then Napoles comes back with a jab and a left hook. And Napoles did do some pretty good work in that round. That wasn't a vintage Napoles performance of this season. It could very well be enough to win this match, but as you point out, you never know.
TBL fans, the winner of round 4 by way of split decision from Miami, Yustiel Napoles.
So Napoles does get it done, and Miami gets out to.
Saludos mi gente y bienvenido a Juan Sábelo Todo Deportes. ¿Cómo están ustedes en esta noche? Llegó la hora de ponernos los guantes para un directo que va a ser de una auténtica locura. Sobre la luna, mi gente. Bienvenido al choque que va a sacar chispa en el cuadrilátero entre los Miami Assassin y los Nashville Smash. Los muchachos de Miami vienen con una puntería letal, listos para terminar la pelea temprano por la vía de colofón. Pero el equipo de Nashville trae una fuerza gigante. Van siempre hacia adelante y quieren demoler la defensa, mi gente. Rival con ganchos durísimos, y les prometo que esta pelea nos va a tener al borde de nuestros asientos, mi gente. Y recuerden que en JuanSabeloTodoUniverso tenemos 36 canales listos para llevarles el mejor entretenimiento transmitido, deporte casi todos los días, porque amamos la adrenalina y nos encanta compartir la emoción con toda la familia. Muchas gracias por estar aquí conectado con nosotros, mi gente, y no me canso de decírselo eso a ustedes. Antes de que el referee les dé las indicaciones en el centro del ring, vamos a darme un regalo, un me gusta, un dedito para arriba, mi gente, antes que se le olvide después al final. Y número 2, ustedes saben cuáles son ya, ¿verdad? Suscribirse al canal todavía si no eres parte de esta gran familia de deporte. Y por final, número 3, escribe en el chat, mi gente, quiénes son los que ustedes creen que van a ganar en este día de hoy, Miami o Nashville. Pero tampoco dejen de ponerme de dónde me están visitando, mi gente. Ustedes saben cómo es eso. Pónganse cómodos y ajusten sus pantalones, porque la pelea comienza en unos momentos después de esto aquí, mi gente. Y ya ustedes saben lo que les digo siempre, mi gente. Aquí están súper queridos en Juan Sabelo Todo Deporte. Y con eso dicho, mi gente, vamos entonces a pasar al ring. Y espero que disfruten esto de bastante seriedad.
So it's Riley coming in here. (4-0) as a pro, 23-year-old, 8-1 in TBL. So let's see how this goes here. 2-2. Miami and Nashville. Miami coming in here, one of the hottest teams in the league at 6-1. A lot of fortifications on their squad. And Nashville with 2 wins, needing one more to stay on the good side of that red line, perhaps, that we showed you at the top with the standings.
And Suero, the only man this season to beat Jasir Riley. They split their fights when they battled the last time they fought each other.
Good jab coming in here to start this off.
You know, Suero has a 5-4 record this season, but 2 of those losses were split decisions. So, you know, he could have certainly a better record. And Riley has just been the model of consistency, right, for Nashville.
Yeah, he beat a 31-15 Javon Davis. That's a big feather in his cap. And 8-1 in the league. So he's been a premier performer. A potential staring ahead for this 23-year-old from Cleveland.
Yeah, really a solid fighter who's 4-0 in the pros. And ironically,
y tenemos a Suero peleando para
is
los
such a power puncher
asesinos
in
de Miami.
the pro ranks beyond
Espero que
TBL.
disfruten
That,
conmigo
you know,
este día, esta
he hasn't shown
cartelera
that
que
totally
le
yet
traigo
here,
con
but he
mucho amor
might.
y mucho empeño para que disfruten el deporte más avanzado, más actualizado de estos tiempos en el estilo de boxeo, mi gente. Boxeo en equipo, donde la acción nunca termina.
There's the hand speed
Un
and the
solo
combination
round
punching
por
from Riley,
boxeador,
which you've seen.
24 rounds, 24
He has a good right
peleas
hand, but also a
rápidas
little good
en
left
3
hook,
minutos, mi
and they
gente.
exchange
Saben
that there.
ustedes lo que hay. Aquí van a conocer los campeones de mañana del futuro boxeo que nos espera en velocidad rápida. No se olviden que los participantes de estos equipos todos son profesionales. Esto no es amateo, mi gente. Esto es boxeo profesional. Aquí ustedes van a conocer los Mike Tyson del futuro, los Suba los Paquitos de Pascual. Van a conocer los manos de piedra del futuro de mañana. No se lo pierdan y vengan a conocerlo aquí cuando están en su apogeo y cuando están subiendo arriba a las encimas. Muchos de los boxeadores que ven aquí con son boxeadores que también van a ver en las perlas y en las grandes carteleras de boxeo profesional que hay aquí en los Estados Unidos. Con eso dicho, recuérdense que yo le presento a ustedes el número de WhatsApp para que puedan chatear conmigo para aquellos que están viendo este programa en televisión y por vía de televisión no pueden chatear. Acuérdense, estoy aquí, ninguna pregunta es difícil, ninguna pregunta es algo de tener vergüenza. Todo lo que le viene a la cabeza en el sentido sano, mi gente, sin vagamundería, obviamente, ¿ok? De deporte. Y yo se lo contestaré por aquí, por vía del micrófono en vivo. También pueden dejarme su nombre en el chat para yo tirarle un gran saludo, un gran amor por vía pública, mi gente, para que no se pierda nadie, que ustedes son apoyadores del canal Juan Sabe Todo. Con eso pasamos al round número 6, a donde veamos que tenemos a Medina, que viene a boxear en este día de hoy. Y también tenemos otro boxeador, como lo están viendo en pantalla, que tiene la cara como que viene a destrozar a Medina. Tenemos a
fighting for its playoff lives.
Ragna y Medina y Molina, mi gente, escúcheme, está de los Miami Assassins.
Great, there is 23 outside of TBL, and Molina 17 and 2 inside TBL, and thus at the top of that list we're showing you. Told you a lot of Miami fighters will be in that list, and there's yet another one.
¿A cuál van ustedes? Díganme.
On a 10-fight win streak after starting 0-1. And he has 5 wins over fighters who combined were 108 and 35. So it's not like you're beating lower-level competition. He has stood up against top fighters.
Tenemos la edad de 28 años para Prato y tenemos la edad de 22 para Molina. Y los Miami Assassins, como pueden ver, están peleando con la cinta roja y los Nationals peleando con la cinta azul en los campeones.
Excellent Cuban southpaw. They have really primarily helped the Miami team. Yeah, both of those teams, a lot of the fighters Cuban and so many left-handers, as you point out.
Aquí yo le he presentado a ustedes los bloqueos afuera de órbita, afuera de la orden, afuera de todo lo que hay en el boxeo ahora mismo. Oiga, le traje un boxeo que le dieron 6 knockouts y también casi se arma un knockout en equipo. No sé si ustedes vieron ese capítulo, pero fue un capítulo que dejó las palabras en la boca de toda mi audiencia y de los fanáticos de
Since 2018, he's got a lot of experience. Not a power puncher, maybe 2 KOs in his 20
Te
wins.
invito para esperar cualquier cosa y veamos que estos dos todavía no se han lanzado con el full power de la emoción que tienen de tratar de ganar el punto a su equipo. Recuérdese que ya estamos fácilmente llegando a donde se revisan y se eligen los boxeadores que van a estar participando en las finales de esta gran cartelera, de este gran torneo del 2026.
He stumbled down there. The referee was right on the spot, but he couldn't get hit. This was a fight that threatened to be more than it was.
And probably closer than some would have imagined. We mentioned rolling on that long winning streak. Prather has yet to win a TBL match. Here's some of the action where Molina was very aggressive, did some good work, but Prather also got some good counterpunching, John. And that was where he slipped on the logo, I think, honestly. Going after the referee was a little bit late getting there. Got it, but maybe just a moment later in the show.
TBL fans, the winner of round 6 by way of unanimous decision. From Miami, Molina.
So Molina stays high and stays atop the leaderboard.
Está celebrando el caballero con su equipo que está en su esquina.
Miami, Giovanni Estella.
This is a real good one. Estella has been a terrific addition to Miami from the New York Attitude. And he beat Elrod last year twice. This year he is 8-2. And he has a win over Rashidi Ellis. We're not kidding. Someone did beat Rashidi Ellis.
It doesn't happen very often. Only 3 men have beat him, and he's one of them.
All right, so while they go on in here, Sophia is with Napoli's.
Josiel, you are ending the season off with a tremendous score. You've been one of the top scorers not only for your team. How has it helped you as a fighter, and how good does it feel knowing that you've helped put so many points up for your team? Toda esta temporada has metido muchos puntos para tu equipo. ¿Cómo te ha ayudado para tu seguridad como un peleador, pero también sabiendo que le estás ayudando a tu equipo a ganar?
Bueno, primero que todo, yo me siento súper contento y agradecido por Dios, agradecido por ti y por darme la oportunidad con el equipo de Miami, por confiar en mí. Y nada, me fue trabajando siempre en el gimnasio, haciendo trabajo con los entrenadores. Y cada vez que subo al ring, subo con la mente de darle mi apoyo a mi equipo y darle los puntos que pueda darle. Solo me enfoco en eso, en hacer los puntos con mi equipo.
Now he is really happy with where he is in the league and what he has been able to do for his team. He says all he has is love for his team and the TBL league. Now, he says it is very important to keep scoring and get that momentum for his team. He's happy to be a team player, willing to deliver for his team.
All right, thank you. Halfway through this round here, and it's a good one between Elrod and Estella. Talk about Estella's win over Ellis and the good addition he's been to the Miami team.
Yeah, produced 11 points for his team with an 8-2 record. Elrod, 6 of his 8 fights, he's lost 2. He's been involved in close ones, and this one's close. Estella's been switching lefty to right a little bit. There he is doing it right now.
Casi se produce un knockout ahí.
Good shot by
Muy
Elrod.
buena oportunidad para meter a la derecha y se aprovecha a Miami de su barrera para entrar un derechazo derecho.
Another
Con 45 segundos en el reloj, cualquier cosa todavía puede pasar.
That they need to step up.
Yeah, they certainly looked at this and hoped that Elrod could at least give them that win. Estella secretly eyeing a lefty like Elrod.
And his former teammate.
Yeah.
You know your teammates training with them, and then you go against them.
Well, big right hand may hurt Elrod from Estella, who does certainly have power. He has shown it.
And Elrod catches him coming in because they both went at it big. Now, when you see the camera shot of Stella, you do get a sense of what New York lost by not having him this year.
Yeah, there's Elrod with the straight left, which is a very good weapon for him. And Estella moved lefty a lot. There he landed a nice right hook. The right hand both as a right hook for a lefty and an overhand right by Estella, and there it is, were important weapons for him. He had some sharp ones. Elrod landed some very nice punches as well.
TBL fans, the winner of round 7 by way of unanimous decision.
Los dos se sienten que han ganado.
From the Miami Assassin, Giovanni Estella.
The Stella train keeps on rolling.
Our final launch round will be in the heavyweight division. Nashville, Danny Barlow. Miami, Nestor Santana.
Now we've seen the big guys, heavyweights, make noise all throughout the season. We'll see if that continues over to here.
Danny Barlow, an interesting case, you know, UFC fighter who had some boxing background and came here to be a better striker, to be better as a boxer. And boy, we've seen him do that, Dave. He has shown a lot of growth in his 4 fights. He's 2-2 this season, shown a lot of growth.
And he has 2 wins over Santana. So he's really got a lot to show for this short time. And it is interesting that some fighters really take to the new format. It's also fascinating to see how many different ways there are to get into this league, whether it's bare knuckles or kickboxing or some of the other disciplines we've seen.
And Santana has had kind of an up and down season, but he did have a week 2 KO of Kenyon Walker that was a big one for him and helped his team a lot. Barlow switching back and forth. You're going to see a lot of that from him.
He does it again here, and here's Santana trying to come at him with a right hand.
You would think that Barlow wouldn't want to exchange with Santana. Bigger man, but Barlow just landed a real good straight left hand. And Barlow's not afraid to do that.
I guess you've got to think you're quicker in order to do that.
And he is, right? The hand speed. And this, you know, Danny Barlow, look at the technique. That's pretty good technique for a guy who is a UFC fighter and has limited boxing experience. Good rights by Santana. And of course, he's got power in that punch.
Yeah, you come over from that and you're showing patience and timing and appreciation of sequence.
Both men landing shots. This is a real good heavyweight matchup. A typical TBL heavyweight matchup with lots of actions.
And here is Santana trying to load up, being that the invitation is there for a slugfest. 45 seconds to go, and they're both digging with their good shots. Here is Barlow opening up with 2, and there's Santana just missing with a couple sledgehammers.
Santana throwing home run balls every time he throws, and some getting close, some landing, and a lot of them missing. Look at the jab of Danny Barlow. You know, again, a weapon that is, you know, coming over here to boxing, you wouldn't expect to see as good. There's a right hand by Santana. He's got power in that punch.
And the patience of Barlow to let a punch whiz by his head and then don't jump off an exchange, land a shot and get out.
Yeah, and then, you know, there have been right at the end there, Danny Barlow landed a really good straight left hand. And he landed some that I think got Nestor Santana's attention. And there's the jab, and Santana missing with a lot of those big shots. Santana did get a right hand in like there, but there's that straight left that we talked about for Barlow. There were some great exchanges during the course of this round for both men, and there's some example, the left hand of Barlow getting in and Santana having a good exchange with him. That was a lot of fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 8 by way of split decision from Nashville, Danny Barlow.
So the launch rounds produced a plethora of split decisions, and the last one going to Nashville, but Miami is up.
Y como pueden ver ahí, mi gente, acción, acción, acción. Mándame una sour, una de la verde esa, de la sour onion, cebolla sour. No sé cómo se dice en español sour. Y también, mi gente, mándame de los platanitos esos grandes también. La ley me dice sour cream y onion. No sé si esas son grandes o son pequeñas. Si son pequeñas, mándame por lo menos 5. De los platanitos grandes, mándame uno. Y mándame una chito post esa grande.
Right at the end against Santana was a big boost for Nashville, and we saw so many split decisions of fights that were close that I think everybody does have hope heading into these middle rounds.
Let's take a look at how we got here from a highlight standpoint. It began in round number 3 where Shelby Cannon going up against Samantha Ginnethan. Samantha Ginnethan national champion. Thought she had done enough here, but her opponent was game and kept coming at her and avoided being dropped on shots like this. You go to the judges, you might get the call, and she did.
And then in round number 7, Giovanni Estella, who knows where the camera is and knows how to throw some punches, and he did against Isaiah Elrod in what was a very scintillating middleweight matchup. And it was a close one, but Giovanni Estella gets the win, and that helped push Miami to that 5-3 edge after the launch rounds.
One of the early nominees for the round of the night. We'll see how it shakes out. And what about now the middle rounds we go in here? 8 rounds of those. And what are we looking at there for the round to watch?
Fascinating fight in round number 12, welterweights. Jasir Riley, who suffered his second loss of the season in the launch rounds, taking on Darius Jackson, who is 9-2, has a terrific, is in the middle of a terrific season, and this one should be a good one.
All right, Miami up, but Nashville hanging around. Let's go inside and pick up the middle rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the middle rounds between the Nashville Smash and Miami Assassins. Round 9 at featherweight. Nashville, Jennifer Kleshis. Miami, Samantha Sousa.
Clausius, 3-4 in bare knuckle, but 3-3 here, beat Knight and Chantel. Several last 2. So 2 wins over Cannon and lost to Natalie Zempoteco.
Suena campana y una vez hay trompa en el aire.
Launch point for the middle rounds is right here. Miami up by 2. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein, glad that you're with us. And here we are, first fight in the middle rounds.
Samantha Sosa is now at 5-5 this season. She is a young fighter at age 19 who is, or 22, excuse me, who had a good amateur career, and she has really developed. These are the first pro fights for her, the ones she's had in TBL, and she has come on very strong, one-on-one, as you mentioned, against Zempo, among other things, and she's a solid fighter.
We see a steady improvement from her over the course of the season. So now the question for her is whether she can get into the top tier in this division. She throws a good right hand.
Yeah, it's a very talented division for sure.
Well, you take your baby steps up. You get some wins over a couple fighters, and then you see if you can go up against the top ones.
I think the wins that Classics got
Se le paró como un gallo ahí, parece, ¿verdad? Que anda corriendo.
Night that you referenced. I think that's going to give her
respondió de una vez.
moving
Oh, yo ando
forward.
corriendo, toma, ¡pau, pau, pau!
You
Dos
know, you
tapones de
mentioned
boca,
she's
¡pau, pau, pau!
been
Tres
in
tapones de
some
boca.
wars in the bare knuckle world. Sosa has a really good right hand, and she's looking for it here against the lefty, of course.
1 minuto y 10 segundos.
And there's a veteran
prácticamente
move,
en
Sosa
el-
jabbing to the body, hoping that would open up that right hand.
And there you go. Does it again. See if the move will work twice.
Yeah, that right continually now getting in for Sosa. That's her main power punch,
Ella le
her
dio,
main
oye,
calling card.
oye, la cinta azul le dio una trompada a la cinta roja, y la roja le metió 250 trompadas una tras la
She can
otra.
throw it, but she hasn't been able to really pinpoint that punch yet.
Always has to react
Ahora
to
que
the
no está
jab. There's
corriendo, está
something in
para
her
como una
face
galla,
that
entonces ahora
just
no
makes
tira.
her
Ahora está no
reload
tira, está
a
haciendo
little
guaje, se
bit.
cree que es Muhammad Ali.
Fighters been doing some
Venga acá,
posturing for
mi
each
gente.
other.
Acuérdense que ustedes vienen aquí a
As a substitute
a
for throwing
ver
punches.
Yeah,
los
Classes is
furiosos
smiling a lot, but she's
o las
not throwing a lot of
furiosas del
punches
ring.
right now.
It's still up for grabs with the final seconds here.
Buena,
If
buena,
it is
buena.
Sosa saying, I want to take it
Buena.
away.
Yeah, the Sosa right hand landing a lot.
Buena,
in
se
this one.
regaron las mujeres.
And,
Se regaron.
she thinks she won it.
Se
Classes
regaron
looks
y
kind
le
of
da
confident
una
too,
rumba
but
a la de cinta roja, a la de la cinta azul.
Sosa landing some nice
Le dieron
right
para
hands
que
there.
coja
That's
toma
that
ahí,
was that
toma,
sequence
toma,
toward the
toma,
end
toma,
of the
toma.
round. And there's she squared up Classes and got hit with that straight right hand. Then at the end of the round, they had a really good exchange in which, for the most part, it was Sosa landing, although Classes snuck in that left hand. Good straight left hand, which she's been trying to do
Estuvo muy
during the
buena,
round.
estuvo muy bueno ese round, mi gente. Round número
TBL
9.
fans, the winner of round 9 by way of unanimous decision.
El referee está como muy serio, yo hallo. ¿Ustedes no creen?
The Sosa
Como que está
continues
donde
to
no quiere
path to
estar.
improvement. Miami gets off to another 3-point lead.
Round 10 at lightweight, Nashville, Roger Hilly. Miami, Claudio Marrero.
Claudio Marrero entra al ring.
Hilly
mi gente.
5-18-1.
Y tenemos las bellas,
Six losses
las
in a row.
bellas de lo que se llama
But
boxeo de
last one he
equipo,
beat the
mi
Ghost
gente.
and
Las
Jose
bellas de ring.
Rodriguez.
Y no vayan a pensar que fue que Juan
April
Sabelotodo le
26
pegó
when he
un apodo
wins.
ahí a las mujeres. Ese es el
He's
nombre de
often
ella
gotten a
oficial, las
spotlight in one of
bellas
the
del
honor
ring.
rolls. So he's come up big sometimes. And Marrero, 28-5 outside of TBO, 25-13 here. He's been hot. Had an 11-fight win streak snapped last year. And let's go over to Sofia with a special guest.
I'm joined by the one and only Josh Johnson. Now, Coach mentioned you as one of the players to look out for, knowing that he can depend on you to get points up in the scoreboard. How does it feel knowing that your coach and your team has that trust in you?
It's a great feeling to know that they believe in me to go out and do my job every single time.
You know, another thing Coach said was that he believes in you guys, and he really started to see you guys believe in yourselves 2 weeks ago when you guys faced Nashville. Now, someone you faced in Nashville was Victor. You faced him again today. Is there anything different that you noticed from when you met him in the ring 2 weeks ago to now?
No, he's the same. He fights the same since last year. He's still the same guy.
De vez en cuando
Back to you guys.
hace alguna payasada arriba
All
del ring
right,
a
so
veces.
Nashville
A
trying
veces.
to hang in here against Miami. The first time they fought, Miami won 6 of the first 7 fights and then had King Kong Ortiz deliver a 4-point hammer. So Nashville trying to stay close, and this is a critical point for them to stay in this match.
Yeah, Claudio Marrero, who has beaten Hilly 4 times, he's 4-0 against him, is really controlling this round. Roger Hilly has kind of been on his heels most of the round on the outside, not able to do much. And Claudio Marrero, 35 years of age, but, you know, a top contender in boxing outside of TBL for a number of years. He is a very skilled fighter, and you see, still has plenty of hand speed.
He's had a share of success against some of the better fighters in the league.
Yeah, Moreau's having, you know, not one of his big seasons. He's below 500. He was 12-2 in season 3 of TBL. But he's getting back on the right track, he hopes.
Yeah, we saw him get a big win earlier in the season against Atlanta to stem a comeback that was being thrown at his team. So he would get up to 500 for this year with a win here, and this has been a surgical performance
Claudio
because
sufre
Roger
de
Hill
que entra,
just did not been able to find him.
conecta varias trompadas,
of course,
50,
that's
40, 60
part of
trompadas, y ya que sabe que tiene round ganado, entonces se mantiene,
attributes
no
as a
sé,
fighter.
como que no
He is not
ataca.
an easy man to
Eso
attack.
tiene Claudio, que
This
yo
is
creo que
actually
tiene que corregirlo. Claudio, si tú me
one
estás
of the
viendo,
best
Juan Soto
performances,
me
I
dice,
think, by Claudio
pelea,
Guerrero in
papi,
terms
pelea
of
hasta el
the
final,
offense
cada
he's shown
minuto del
and
round, cada
defense,
segundo.
mixing up
Pelea.
both, and giving a hard time to Roger Hilly, who was on an 0-6 loss streak, and he might be 0-7 after this. Marrero, from the get-go, was throwing lots of combinations. There you see it, not everything landing, but putting Hilly on his heels against the ropes, using feints, straight left hands, jabs to the body, just a variety of things. That Claudio Marrero, a 35-year-old who's had 33 pro fights outside of TBL, along with his great experience inside it, you know, he's seen everything in the ring.
And that was surgical.
Ladies and
Marrero.
gentlemen, the winner of round 10 by way of split decision. From the Miami Assassins, Claudio
Y se
Marrero.
lo lleva
Well, by
Claudio
splitting up, if they
Marrero.
got the right
Que
winner,
eso es
so
lo que le entra,
Marrero makes it to
a ganarse
7-3,
round para
and
adelante.
Miami off
Y
to
ya, y
his
no
biggest
empuja más,
lead.
no es ambicioso, no anda buscando el knockout, el knockout técnico, simplemente no
Miami
perder.
Sofia Varetti.
All right,
Pero me
Suzanne
gustaría
Rodriguez
verlo
Griffin,
tirando
42 years old
trompadas
from
segundo tras
Indianapolis,
segundo, un round
2-2,
completo.
first fight
Y
since
eso me hiciera muy
lost to
feliz,
TKO
porque viera
Sage
yo mucho
Rosario.
knockout
You know,
por
she's
vía
been an
de
amateur
Claudio
referee and a
Marrero,
coach
gracias, la
leading
verdad.
collegiate boxers,
El
so
hombre
she's been a
pelea,
good role
tiene un estilo
model
bonito de
in
pleito
what
y
she's
todo.
been doing.
Pero entonces lo
And
coge suave.
Sofia Varetti has 2 wins over Camila
Ya tenemos una
in
mujer
her
entrando
career,
al
so there
ring.
are moments when she
Ya
can
ustedes saben
come up
que eso
really
es
big.
paliza
And
desde
as
que
they get
entran hasta lo que
started,
se van. Golpe y golpe, mi gente.
Sofia has a special guest.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Yuneski Gonzalez now. Yuneski, you are on a team who has made the playoff cutoff, but you guys are facing a team who has that fire inside of him, and they want to win tonight. How important is it for you guys to continue on your win streak? Yuneski, estás con un equipo que ya llegó a casi los campeonatos, pero están contra un equipo que viene con todo para ganar y ellos están dispuestos a ganar hoy. ¿Qué tan importante es mantener el enfoque en ganar hoy?
No, sí, ya, y el enfoque es bien importante de todos los muchachos. Creo que lo están haciendo bastante bien hasta el
Y
momento.
aquí tenemos una situación.
eh,
Esta mujer, le voy a decir la verdad.
Para seguir invicto, ya que estamos,
Ella pelea
para
bastante,
seguir con las
Sofía.
mejores puntuaciones,
Ella
con-
le gusta
con las
meter
mejores
mano,
vidas.
pero tiene una
Aquí,
situación
en el patio
que
nosotros,
cuando la ponen
sería
así,
de
que,
más gusto,
están de que
caer
la
frente a
otra
él.
está muy alta,
Viene con hambre, pero
el
no
alcance está
está al nivel de
difícil.
nosotros.
Ella
Yes,
todavía
he said
mete
he is
mano,
at a win
pero se
tonight.
le hace
Most
más
important
difícil.
because they are here
Debieran
in
de
their home
buscar
turf. He wants to
que
get
las
those
mujeres
points up
estuvieran
to make
cerca
sure
de su
when you look at
alcance
the
y
scores,
tamaño,
all the teams
para que así
standing at the end,
sea una
Miami is one
pelea
of those top 13.
igual
Yuneski,
y
gracias.
así
Thank you.
veamos más acción
All
y
right, so
más
here we
de
are,
cada
halfway
una de
through
estas mujeres, porque
Suzanne
esta mujer
Rodriguez and
tiene
Sofia
corazón.
Varetti.
Dese
And
cuenta
they're
que eso es para adelante,
producing
para
a
adelante,
beauty.
para
I'll
adelante.
tell you,
Y
you
en
know,
que
early on
ella
was Varetti
tiene
doing well,
dificultades
and then,
entrando del agua adentro
Griffin, who, as you
de,
point out,
por ejemplo,
coming
Breezy.
off a tough
Ella como
loss,
quiera
has
intenta un
shown resilience and
200%
toughness here.
de entrar allá
Varetti's
adentro
2-8 this
y
season, but
buscar
man,
la
she
forma
faced,
de cómo conectar y
Erin
pegar
Davis,
varios puntos
Brianna
y
Carrera,
siempre
Stacey
buscando el
Sullivan.
knockout.
She's been in with
Y lo
very
único
tough
que la tiene una
competition, and
desventaja
she doesn't have a lot
es que la
of
distancia de
experience, pro
brazo
experience, so
y la distancia de
learning on the job in
tamaño
a tough way, but
de Griffin
she's had a
es
good fight here
simplemente
against Griffin, but
demasiado para
Griffin's done a
ella.
lot of good work as well.
Yeah, and when we look at the matchup, you're saying, you know, for those reasons, a drop down from the elite to level that, you know, she's at makes it very much an up for grabs fight. Miami has its largest lead, 7-3, and this is real crunch time for Nashville.
Yeah, and Griffin is giving it her best, and she has landed some pretty good shots. And you mentioned all her attributes. She even promoted 3 shows in Indianapolis. So she's a key figure in women's boxing at age 42. And she is performing tonight pretty well. This is going to be a tough call, I think, for the judges.
And when you are going to be a teacher and a coach and a referee and you're in the spotlight, you do have to lead by example, and she put up a very good effort here against a game. Sofia Veretti, pleasing in its own realm was this fight.
Yeah, Griffin feels like she did enough. Veretti had a really good start in that round early on.
Como pueden ver, sacó sangre acá en la nariz. ¿Tú estás viendo? Imagínense, oiga, les voy a decir una vaina. Imagínense que esa mujer pequeña tuviera 2 pies más o 1 pie y medio más de tamaño y 1 pulgada o 2 más de distancia. Eso hubiera sido un knockout ahí, esa mujer la noquea, créemelo. Pero mira el tamaño.
From the Nashville Smash, Susana Rodriguez.
Y como quiera ganó el round.
Oh, Susana, you put
no importó que fuera mucho más pequeña y con una distancia mucho menos que la otra, resolvió el problema. Y así vienen ahora otra, viene Riley contra Jackson en el welterweight. También ha tenido el placer de ver estos 2 boxeadores metiendo mano. Ellos van a darle a ustedes su show, van a pelear y vamos a ver si se produce un knockout en esta noche.
For Jasir Riley, he's got an 8-2 record this season. He lost his first fight tonight. He has never lost 2 in his brief TBL career, this is his debut season, as it is for Jackson, of course, a veteran of TBL in his 4th season. And the only 2 losses Jackson has this year, with his 9-2 record, were both split decisions. So he's had a very good campaign, as has Riley.
Yeah, Jackson with 2 wins over Ryan Zempoteka. Did have a 6-fight win streak at one point. Just been under the level, very close to the level of the Castros and the Gaineses and some of the better fighters in the division. So he's right there.
Riley is looking to get off that right hand, and he's got a really good left hook, but he's having a hard time getting in position to throw at the height and reach of Jackson, which often bedevils his opponent, is giving some issues to Riley. I mean, that's part of the reason why Jackson, age 22, has 28 wins as a team boxing league boxer. You see Jackson not staying in one spot, moving with angles and giving Riley something to think about.
Utilizing his natural height and reach. And there's a good pot shot type of a punch as he was starting to lean the other way. Now he can throw an unconventional punch and then get out. And in a 1-round fight, he could really squeeze the clock on a guy like Riley who's trying to get inside of him.
Yeah, Darius Jackson's one of those people, we talked about the different strategies. He controls rounds. And so he does enough offense to get the job done and prevents his opponent from doing much offense themselves. And it's not like he's running around the ring. You see, he's in the pocket. And he will attack, especially using the jab. Jasir Riley has got to get something in, like an overhand right or one of those left hooks, something to change the dynamic, I would think.
And the problem when you're going against Jackson is he does not overreach. No, controls it, as you're talking about, patient, and almost like he's aware of the scoring in his head.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
4 punches launched, nothing got in, but 15 seconds came off the clock, and Riley was no closer to Jackson than at the start.
And during that sequence, Jasir Riley launched a big right hand, but it flew over the head of Darius Jackson. So we'll look at Jackson on the inside. Riley trying to get some shots in on the inside and put some punches together, but they didn't quite get there.
TBL fans, the winner of round 12 by way of split decision. From Nashville, Yasir Riley.
Wow, this has been an interesting night for the judges.
All right, so Nashville able to stay in it with 2 split decisions, and Miami cannot pull away. We'll be back for the second half of the fight after this.
Boxeo, Juan Sabelo todo, deportes, luces bajas, el ring encendido, se siente el peso de lo vivido. Esta noche es pelea, la arena va a temblar, 2 esquinas listas, nadie se va a rajar, guantes al aire, se siente la tensión, es guerra en el ring, pura determinación, desde la campana suena el primer round, golpes como truenos retumbando en el ground, sangre, sudor,
Round. Now, I am joined by former 2-time mayor who just finished his term back in December, Francis Suarez. Now, Francis, Miami has an amazing franchise of teams, Heat, the Panther, the Dolphins. How important is it to now have a boxing team here in Miami?
It's super important. Like I was telling you, Sophia, I believe that the world is going to sort of have this juncture where it's all going to be either AI or experiences. And I think sports is one of the premier experiences of the human condition. It's what we love to do. We get to relax. We get to sort of disconnect. And I think it's great that Miami has another boxing league. I think it's great that Miami continues to differentiate itself in the world by having the most premier sports offerings than any other city in America. When you consider Formula One, when you throw in there, now we have the World Cup, obviously 7 games, super exciting time to be in Miami. The Team Boxing League has a great concept with 24 rounds, 1-round fights. They go at it, and it's fun to watch. And, you know, I think it's cool to brand them for cities. And, of course, we're winning today because the mayor's here, you know, former mayor. And I'm here with Alex Spiro, who's my good friend, who's a part owner of the Miami team, supporting him, supporting Miami, supporting the fighters that come from my city, and hoping that they continue to succeed the way they're doing tonight.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the rest of the rounds because we still got the money rounds coming up. We're going to send it back to Ray.
Round of 13 at super middleweight, Nashville, Juan Barajas, Miami, Yusmael Ruiz.
All right, Barajas has won 4, then lost 4, 10-15 overall. Broke a 6-fight losing streak, beating Keandre Leatherwood, and Ruiz 13-13. Had a 6-fight win streak snapped, but he did get that a couple years ago. And he's 3-1 versus Barajas, so maybe thinks he has a little bit of an edge.
And his record of 9-4 this season, a turnaround from last season.
And it has put him up where you see him at 6 points. And we saw Bartiel, his return last week, and how dynamic that was for San Antonio. So there's some pretty good names at the top of this division, and they're well.
Barajas can be a very busy fighter. He can throw combinations and be very aggressive. And that's what he's trying to do here.
Well, we've seen these guys opening up, at least threatening stylistically to bring something else into play, which is the knockdowns and the bonus points, which we've had none of so far.
Yeah, Ruiz landing a nice right hand a moment ago against Barajas. Juan Barajas is a really fascinating fighter because you never know exactly what you're going to get. Sometimes he comes out and boy, the combinations are flowing and he looks so sharp, and then other times not so much.
It's a good left hook there by Barajas. And the right hand. Boy, there's a lot to shoot at for Barajas as Ruiz leaving himself open on the way and just gambling with some good work on the inside.
Yeah, Ruiz wants to be on the inside, I think, in this fight. Though he's paying a little bit of a price to get there, but now, with about a minute left to go, he's starting to have a better situation in terms of ring geography and getting on the inside. But Barajas had a pretty good start in this round.
Barajas with the headshots. Ruiz trying to get to the body, and Barajas here controlling the ring general aspect. And it's going to be interesting because they both had bursts isolated.
Yes, when Ruiz loses, it's because his volume of punches wasn't as high as it should be. Now there's the Ruiz that wins fights and has won 9 when he gets those punches, puts them together and works hard on the inside. Barajas has slowed his pace a little bit in the second portion of this round.
So it was Barajas early, Ruiz in the middle, and take your pick at the end.
Well, Ismael Ruiz lands a nice left hook and then turns away and says, hey, that was pretty good. There's the hook on the inside. You see, this is the distance where Ruiz, when he was there, did good work. Barajas did better work on the outside, especially early in the round. And again, a right hand by Ruiz. So those were good. That was a good sequence. And the body work by Ruiz also. So there were good action sequences for Ruiz, but in between, Barajas did some good work from the outside.
TBL fans, the winner of round 13 by way of unanimous decision. From the Miami Assassins, Ismael Ruiz.
So Ruiz gets it done, and Miami goes back up by 3.
Round 14 and light heavyweight, Nashville, William Langston. Miami, Isaac Carbonell.
Langston has 5 wins in a row, second-year fighter. Did lose to Carbonell last year and then beat him last time. So they know each other pretty well. And Carbonell from Nashville at 27-11, lost to William Langston last time out. And I will see how this one plays out.
Yeah, they're 1-1-1. They have a draw in TBL. And of course, Langston, as you pointed out, I announced that fight where the two of them met in boxing outside of TBL. And Langston won a unanimous decision in that one. So they have a lot of history together, these two boxers.
Referee warning against infractions. Have to pay very big attention to that, whatever it is, because if the same infraction occurs and you're judged to be the guilty party, you could lose a point. Points are very crucial here.
Two left-handers with very similar skills, and you see Carbonell getting his punches going. You pointed out they're both experienced team boxing league performers.
Yeah, they know each other so well with their history. It's all a matter of execution now. And we're seeing the uppercuts get in by Langston, and Carbonell was initiating a hold. And now with the equipment problem, Clock did stop here.
I mean, Carbonell, the 32-year-old, has 27 wins in TBL. So he's very experienced in this format and does a good job. But I'll tell you, William Langston has been trouble for him, right? He's just one of those guys that both outside the TBL and inside it, they've had very close fights together. And Langston pushing forward. Carbonell boxing pretty well and throwing the jab out as a counter to him.
And there is Langston working on the inside, trying to get the body shots home here on Carbonell. And Carbonell has been the one initiating the holding.
Yeah. He doesn't want to fight on the inside with Langston, I don't think. Langston only has 2 losses this year, and both of those came to Raiko Santana, who, of course, is one of the best in this division, and one of those was by split decision.
Langston has been the aggressor in terms of ring generalship, and getting off first here.
The question is whether Carbonell in the early part did enough good boxing and whether he's done enough good counterpunching.
Get an example of it there with his right hook after being hit to the body. An important call coming up, as it is 8-5 Miami. Langston makes a good bit at the end, but they'll judge the entire 3 minutes.
Yeah, Langston frustrated with the holding of Carbonell right at the end of that round, and Carbonell did do that several times. This was where Carbonell spent a lot of time against the ropes. Good left hand landed by Langston, and that doesn't help you in the judge's perception unless they really see you counterpunching off those ropes. Langston was able to put him there and throw a lot of punches. Not everything got in, but some did.
TBL fans, the winner of round 14 by way of unanimous decision. From Nashville, William Langston. The score, Miami 8, Nashville 6.
Langston hustles and keeps Nashville right there.
Round of 15 at cruiserweight. Nashville, D'Angelo Leachman. Miami, Yuneski Gonzalez.
Leachman on a nice run, 10-1 in the TBL recently. 2 wins over Pugh, 2 wins over Yuneski Gonzalez, who he's fighting here.
Yeah, if you're in Nashville right now, you have to feel pretty good about the position you're in, because you've got Leachman now fighting a fighter he has beaten, and Leachman has been just very, very solid. He moved down to cruiserweight for this season from heavyweight, and the result has been superb for him. He's one of those fighters that have kind of been under the radar, Dave, right? A quiet 10-1, but you see how he, along with Adrian Taylor, who also came down to cruiserweight, how well they're doing.
Yeah, they made great decisions, both in their TBL career and for their teams.
Yes.
In finding a more comfortable way. And when you look at them, you can just see the handicap that they were in the heavier fights with guys that outweighed them by a lot.
Gonzalez, of course, a TBL, icon in a way. He's a 40-year-old who has been in this league and given so many exciting moments to fans of the TBL. And he's trying to figure out the Rubik's Cube that is Leachman to him.
And on deck is the specter of Luis Ortiz, King Kong for Miami. And that makes the fights leading up to it and right after very significant. You have to account for what you expect his impact to be.
Boy, this is a great sequence for both men, but Leachman landing and hurting, I think, Gonzalez, making him feel those right hands But Gonzalez keeps attacking. He's a dog.
Yeah, Leachman unloading some great uppercuts.
This is as much volume from Leachman as we've seen. I mean, he is really throwing a lot of leather tonight. And of course, Gonzalez is always an aggressive fighter.
So they come down and they bring some hand speed with them here as they square off in what has been a high volume battle. Good left hooks here.
To me, this is a potential round of the night candidate. I mean, both men have landed big shots. And Gonzalez, you know, he was hit with some big punches, but boy, he did not stop attacking. He's made his right hand, which is a good one, has gotten in as well.
They brought the crowd into it. People standing up, and there are some good offensive maneuvers back and forth. We don't need the jab. Throw it away tonight and entertain.
The overhand right gets in, and Yuneski Gonzalez just screams no to Leachman, like, he didn't hurt me. A lot of talking going on, a lot of punching going on in that ring.
High connection percentage as these fighters offensively were on their game. And now a key call coming up.
Well, Gonzalez coming forward and pressing Leachman and getting a few shots in, but then Leachman on the inside doing some great work. Gets the hook in, the uppercut, and Leachman did a lot, landed a lot of power punches. So did Gonzalez, and you make the point right now. Some tension in the air as we head into this heavyweight matchup.
TBL fans, the winner of round 15 by way of unanimous decision. From the Nashville Smash, D'Angelo Leachman.
And Leachman brings Nashville within one. And this is a huge match, because where will Nashville be in this fight after this one?
Will be in the heavyweight division. Nashville Smash, Terrell Jamal Woods. Miami Assassins, Luis Ortiz.
Ortiz has been a KO Meister since he came in here and debuted against Miami. A couple of knockouts, so also was down. So here we go.
Yeah, his first fight against Nashville, he beat Stephen Moss, and now here, and then he knocked out Edward Millard, and now here he is against Terrell Jamal Woods, who has not been stopped in the TBL, but in his pro career has been knocked out 8 times.
So look at Ortiz in a late season edition, right? Already in 3rd place. And one knockout, he can be over everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And that's certainly what he's shooting for here against Woods, who, as I mentioned, 8 times as a pro outside of TBL has been stopped, but never here in TBL. But of course, he's had not great success. He is 0-8 in his TBL career and 0-5 this year.
And he would be doing his team a service that if he only lost the decision. But he gets nailed to the body. So it's 1 point right now ahead Miami. A knockout could make it 5 and make a comeback very difficult for Nashville. If you're Nashville and you're still around, maybe down 2, it's a different ball game, and this is what's at stake right now.
Well, Woods' problem has been he's just, in most of the matches he's lost, has just not done a lot offensively. And so now there he is, working to the body and pushing Ortiz back. And if you can do that, that's the way to fight Luis Ortiz, because he's not a guy that likes to go backwards.
47 years young, 84-inch reach.
Yeah, top contender in the heavyweight division for many years, and still has plenty of power at this age.
Saw him in the exciting fights with Deontay Wilder, Ruiz. Found a home here in TBL, and this is why Miami got him. Moments like this, in one-point leads, hoping that he can transform.
You know, Woods has done more offense here than he's done in some other fights, and now backing up against the ropes, and Ortiz winging shots to the body, and they're getting there, but he wants more than that. Woods telling him, you're not hurting me.
No, but he's staying in the same spot.
Yeah.
And not working the clock like he could be. And here's Ortiz trying to load up.
Well, Woods was game and a little more active offensively than he has been in other fights. I think Ortiz likely did enough to win that round, but as you point out, Miami, and this is Luis Ortiz's only appearance tonight, they were looking for something more than just a one-point win. So I'm sure they'll be happy to take it. Here's where Ortiz had Woods on the ropes, landing a nice body punch, couple of good body punches. Ortiz did do very good work downstairs, even though he couldn't. That was kind of a push, I think, more than anything.
Woods keeps Nashville relevant in this contest.
TBL fans, the winner of round 16 by way of unanimous decision. From Miami, Luis Ortiz.
Okay, so Ortiz puts Miami up by 2, and we'll go to Sofia with an interview.
Thanks, guys. I am joined by world champion polo player, and you might have seen him in magazines, commercials, also a model for Ralph Lauren, Nacho Figueroa. Now, Nacho, we are here in Miami, an exciting night, round for round here in boxing. Now, I want to know what got you interested to join the ownership team of Franchise Boxing?
Well, first of all, I'm a polo player, and I used to teams, and I think this is a very great, disruptive way and entertaining for boxing. So that's one of the things that got me excited, the team aspect of it. And I love that. I think, you know, that makes every round count, and I'm having a great time and enjoying this Miami team ownership in a great way.
Now, for those who aren't here or aren't tuning in, can you let them know what the atmosphere is like? What do you see in the venue to make people know, so they know what can they expect?
I see two things. You know, one is the team is amazing how they support each other and they cheer and they, you know, go down, go up. You know, all those things are, I think, are exciting and different to the sport. And then the other thing, you know, people are having a great time. There's a great atmosphere. It's exciting. You know, we just saw a fight with King Kong, and he was great, and people got super excited. He almost got a knockdown. So this was it's been an amazing night. I'm here with one of my children, one of my kids, and he's having a great time too.
Yes, well, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the night. Dave and Al, we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, so it's 9-7 Miami after the middle rounds. Still the money rounds to come. We've got
solamente en lo que tú quieres, dolor en el cuerpo, pero firme la fe, el campeón verdadero nunca deja de creer. Yeah, boxeo, Juan Sabelo todo, deportes. La campana suena, termina el combate, pero el nombre queda, nadie lo borra, late en cada historia, en cada campeón. Juan Sabelo todo deportes, vive en el ring, vive en la canción. luces bajas, el ring encendido. Se siente el peso de lo vivido. Esta noche pelea, la arena va a temblar. Dos esquinas listas, nadie se va a rajar. Guantes al aire, se siente la tensión. Es guerra en el ring, pura determinación. Desde la campana suena el primer round. Golpes como trueno retumbando en el ground. Sangre, sudor, respeto en cada acción. Orgullo en juego, corazón de campeón. Respira hondo, siente el tambor. Late más fuerte dentro del corazón. No hay vuelta atrás, no hay condición. Aquí se prueba quién tiene valor. Esto no es un juego, esto es boxeo real. Donde el alma grita y no existe lo normal. Golpe tras golpe rompiendo el dolor. Cayendo y subiendo con fuego interior. Esto no es un juego, esto es lucha sin fin. Donde el miedo muere cuando entras al ring. Sudor en la frente, mirada fea.
Bernstein with you in what now has become a real saga in South Florida. Is upset possibility in there. That was a big hump and a big bullet that Nashville dodged to only be down by 2.
Yeah, because Woods was able to stand up to King Kong Ortiz and not get knocked out or knocked down. The interesting thing here is that when you look ahead to the money rounds and you look down the list of the fights, there are many winnable fights still for Nashville. So this match is very much alive right now.
Let's see how we got here during the middle rounds in our highlights. Miami had been threatening to pull away, but this has been a points battle all the way through. And this is a real good battle going on all evening long as they teed it up. And the Assassins would come away with one, but not able to pull away entirely.
Yeah, and then in round 15, D'Angelo Leachman has had a spectacular season against that man, Yuneski Gonzalez. They waged a war over 3 minutes. It was a terrific fight, and Leachman got off to a big start in the round. Gonzalez had his moments in the later part of the round, but Leachman was able to get yet another win this season. He's only lost once in the whole season.
So now we come in here 9-7, and we always talk about our round to watch. But guess what? Now there are a lot of rounds to watch because they're all meaningful. But what is the official one?
Well, we're going to look at round number 20, a rematch of William Langston and Isaac Carbonell. Langston moves ahead in their rivalry by 1 fight in the TBL. He's also beaten Carbonell outside of the TBL. But that was a good fight, and the Miami Assassins, coming in here the favorite, may need Carbonell to step up against a man he's had trouble beating.
We have a captivating set of money rounds. Let's get inside and get to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the money rounds between the Nashville Smash and Miami Assassins. Round 17 at middleweight.
Y entramos a los rounds del dinero, mi gente.
Miami, Giovanni Estella.
Like 2 fighters familiar with each other. Estella coming away with the first win between them tonight. But it was close. It's a good battle with Elrod and Estella, one of our nominees that we had for round of the night consideration.
Yeah, you mentioned that while the round was going on, and they had some very, very good exchanges between each other, and it was a really, really good battle.
Now it's real interesting to see how this is going to work with the fight very much in the balance. Remember that Miami took the launch rounds, the middle rounds, and the money rounds against Nashville first time up. As you see that Estella right in the hunt at the top of the leaderboard there. 6-2, 7-4, and 5-1. Miami started fast and ended fast. But here Nashville showing resilience in only being down 2.
And here's Estella, who's 4-1 in TBL history against Elrod. So he has a decided edge, although all their matches have been competitive ones. And that's the thing about Elrod. Even in the ones he loses, he's always in the hunt. And he's got a 6-5 record now this season after that loss to Estella, who is now in double digits, or now 9-2, I should say, this season. Estella's switching to lefty again. He's done that effectively in this in the matches against Elrod.
Here's Elrod trying to load up with a big left hand. Now, what do you make of Elrod, the switching by Estella? Do you find it to be purposeful? Is he trying to set something up or keying off or something?
I think it has worked for him, Dave. You know, I feel like it is purposeful, and when he does it, you know, he gets a good right hand in as a hook. Now, nice countering by Elrod there. When Estella switches, he can get the right hook in, and as a righty, he's trying to land the overhand right, and there's the right hand from Estella.
Final minute, pivotal battle here, Elrod and Estella.
And there is Estella switching to righty, and what does he do? He throws the right hook. And he and Elrod, I'll tell you, they've had some really good exchanges, and there's Elrod working on the inside.
They both maximize punching opportunities. A taut thriller in Miami. Miami up 2. Nashville surging, trying to get a critical victory for its playoff hopes, and it's right there, right now.
Both these fighters in their middle 20s, both have good records outside of TBL. Estella 15-2 and Elrod 7-0 in pro boxing. They are fighters that are looking to advance, and man, they're putting on a great fight right now in TBL.
They have risen to the occasion here, and you never know that Estella's on a team that has his playoff ticket stamped. You would know from Elrod's performance that Nashville is hungry for results.
That was another good round between these two men. The straight left hand from Elrod, which has been his staple in this. The right hand, there's the right from Estella that was good, and Elrod got his own right hook in from the southpaw stance. So that was a really fun round of boxing. And a close one. Estella may have landed the bigger, showier shots, but Elrod had his good moments.
The winner of round 17 by way of unanimous decision. From the Miami Assassins, Giovanni Estella.
So as a team leader, Estella puts his team back up by 3.
Round 18 at featherweight. Nashville, Leandric Charles Johnson. Miami, Victor Abreu.
All right, rematch from back in round number 2. That was a good one between the two of these. And Johnson came up with the win there over Abreu.
That was one of a spate of split decisions in the launch rounds, and it was a very, very close matchup between these two. And it was a pretty tactical round between the two of them. Let's see if things heat up a little bit more in this round.
And you suspect they might, because they can adjust to something and, you know, look at styles and what happens here. Johnson now up to 4 wins in a row. The total net points are good, too.
Yeah, he continues what is a great second season for him after a 500 season, 9-9 in his first season in TBL. Here he is with a glittering 8-2 record. And Abreu, we mentioned, he's now 9-5 this season, and he lands a nice overhand right.
And now we look at things through the lens of leadership on teams. Johnson has been one of the big fighters. We talked about him at the top of the show. And this is very important for his team now, down by 3 with what will be 6 matches left after this one.
Victor Abreu is a solid fighter. The only knock on him might be that he's a little bit one-dimensional in terms of the way he attacks, but he does it very well. You know, and he defies you to stop it.
Good work here to the body by Abreu,
and then Johnson goes downstairs as well.
He's happy to counter and oblige him in there.
It's a very solid matchup between these two. And they were 3-3 coming into this, and then Johnson edged ahead, so their history in TBL has been very close.
And so, fight by fight, it's just a tweak here and there. Who has a little bit of an execution surge or drop determines the outcome.
And this one is just like the first one. You know, Abreu coming in, being the pressure guy, Johnson occasionally getting an outburst of combination punching. Abreu has probably been punched with more volume, as he did in the first round. They were in against each other. The question is whether the judges feel it's effective or not. Johnson has countered and occasionally had these quick bursts.
Johnson has done some good work as a counter puncher. Abreu looking like the ring general, but the question to the judges will be, well, has he done enough? And look at all the punches missing here as the defense comes in. And all right, interesting call for the judges, and it will be a very big one.
This is going to be really intriguing. You know, Abreu was very steady in that round like he was in the other one, but Johnson had those flashy bursts from time to time.
Yeah, Johnson looked a little more desperate, like he needed it more. So, a lot for the judges to put into this formula.
The winner of round 18 by way of unanimous decision. From the Miami Assassins, Victor Abreu.
All right, so an excellent start in the money rounds for Miami.
Round 19 at heavyweight, Nashville, Danny Barlow, Miami, Nestor Santana.
Now, this was awfully good the first time they went at it.
Very exciting round between these two. Danny Barlow, the UFC fighter, and Nestor Santana, the big heavyweight, another one of the Cuban imports for Miami. Big power puncher, who has a knockout win this year. Came up short because of Barlow's activity and his accuracy. And now Santana is really trying to change that by being very aggressive here at the beginning of this fight.
Barlow was a pesky counter puncher in their first matchup, which he won. And now with Miami up by 4 with 6 to go, Barlow trying to do the same thing, move on the angles and try to have Santana's number. We have not seen bonus points tonight.
No, which is interesting. And Danny Barlow, in his straight left hand, is a really good punch. And I think on a couple of occasions, it has even stunned Nestor Santana, but not knocked him down, but stunned him.
Now, we certainly saw that in the last minute of their first encounter.
Que entró agresivamente y le dieron 2 buenos puñetazos y se calmó. Eso es lo que hay que hacer, los leones. Dale su galleta para poner un
You have one part of the bag. That's not what he wants to do.
Y ya ustedes saben, mi gente, que lo están oyendo aquí en Juan Sábado Todo Deporte, mi gente. Y están intercambiando todo. Ustedes saben que ellos son charlatán, que vivo relajando.
Sneaking a right hand to counter, and because he's got so much
no
power,
vayan a nadie ofenderse ni nada. Vamos
a
ver aquí, mi gente. Estos se están dando hasta con la parte de atrás de la mano.
Just when you look at their physical conformation, it still looks
La
like
verdad es que
fighting a
han
guy
trabajado
who's ahead of
bastante
him in
bien
a weight
estos
class,
boxeadores, hay que darle
landing
su
these
crédito.
punches but not able to
Afuera del
drop them.
relajo.
And
Santana, sí, ahí Santana, me gusta verte peleando, te digo la verdad. Me gusta porque tú traes pelea para acá. Muy bien hecho. Y tú te le paras como un gallo a cualquiera, hasta King Kong se lo ponen ahí adelante.
But Danny Barlow takes them and dishes his own punishment out.
Barlow continues to be the attacker.
Se cansó. Santana se cansó, ya se cansó.
He sneaks another left hand in.
No es porque está de miedo ni nada, sino que está cansado.
He looks almost like he's down
Está cansado.
And so the quickness
Santana tiene que hacer más ejercicio, papi, correr más.
The development of Danny Barlow as a
tiene que correr más, brincar más soga,
I think is one of the more intriguing stories of the whole season.
A la perita.
An MMA fighter with limited boxing experience, and he has turned himself into a real boxer.
Buena!
Nailed there for
Buena, Santana, buena!
Yes, he's done an exceptional job.
And he's wailing away. He's landing big shots as well. That was a great round. Well, Nestor Santana came out blazing, having lost the decision previous to Barlow. He came right out. We'll see it in real time. Santana just throwing and looking to land power punches. Not everything getting in, but he was trying. But then Barlow, as the round kept going on, switched things around, and then they ended up in a wild exchange, a great exchange toward the end of the round. And then here again at the end of the round, near the end, Barlow on the inside battling away against this much bigger man. I don't know if that's a sign of grudging respect or what between the two.
Or we're going to finish this later.
TBL fans, the winner of round 19 by way of split decision. From the Miami Assassins, Nestor Santana.
Well, Santana comes away with a pivotal one for Miami, and now they go up by 5.
Y Santana dejó saber que ahorita le ganaron a Chepa, porque cuando entra a ese ring es a ganar. Y si no gana en la primera, en la segunda, coño lo arre. Eso es Santana.
In round 20 here, good scrap the first time, captured by Rodriguez Griffin.
We can look back at that decision and say maybe Miami was due a questionable split decision.
Yes,
there were a couple that
Y
went against
tenemos
them.
a Griffin, a Susana,
In any case, they
que le
got
ha
the
dicho
win.
que es con mucho corazón que entra esa mujer a ese ring.
And that
A
puts
esa mujer no le hace
pressure,
falta
obviously,
corazón.
additional pressure
Eso
on
se lo
Griffin,
asegura
who maybe
Juan Sábelo todo aquí,
overperformed a little in the
en
last
vivo y
round.
directo con
She's
ustedes.
certainly a good fighter, and Veretti has had her problems this season, but Griffin was very good at being aggressive, and Veretti, there's a left hand in there.
They'll call it a slip.
Un
That's a key call.
rebalón.
It is a key call.
So where it all stands now is with Miami up 5, no margin of victory left for Nashville. Nashville would have to get all of these to get to a tie spot.
Bueno, aparentemente, Viriti, Sofía, parece que entró con un plan nuevo a usar las ventajas que tiene, ¿verdad? Para tratar de cambiar y ver si gana este round ella ahora. Pero Santana, que diga Susana es, ya ustedes saben, todo corazón, mi gente. Eso es para adelante y para atrás no coge ni un paso, eso es para adelante. Busca la cabeza como si fuera un misil. Y ya ustedes saben, cuando dispara esos bracitos van con plomo.
Been a tough season for Veretti. We mentioned 2-8 at this point, but she has been very tough in against
Y para aquellos que no saben cuál es Susana, que están perdidos, Susana es la de los guantecitos raya azul, mi gente, peleando para National Smash. Y Sofía es la pobrecita gigante que lleva golpes como si fuera Goliath, dándole como si fuera, ¿cómo es? Wow, ¿cómo se llama? David, como si fuera David dándole a Goliath. Ya ustedes saben, mi gente, eso es así.
She was able to shine. She's got some natural height and reach.
Yeah, and in this round, more so than the first one, I think she's emulated that a little bit. She certainly nullified the bull rushes by Griffin to a greater extent. And, you know,
y ella tira hacia allá, va y pam, 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 para conectar todos esos puntos, para ganar el round, porque ella no es pendeja, ¿no? Y ella dice, espérate, yo te voy a tratar de tumbar, pero si no puedo tumbarte, vamos a cogerte puntos. Y eso es Pecosá y Pecosá van y Pecosá viene. Pecosá van y Pecosá viene.
Absolutely true. If she would better use her height at reach advantage and with the jab and the straight right hand from a distance, it would bode well for her. Nice overhand right by Griffin. They kind of those chopping punches that she throws when she's in range and works on the inside. I think both women are a little fatigued right here.
Well, they've laid it all out there for the second round tonight. And they've made it.
Let's take a look. Yeah, let's look at when Griffin went down, and we see it from two different angles here. Well, there was a left hand in there. Was
y como podemos ver ahí,
we saw the gloves go down, and look, from that angle, looked like a punch.
Yeah, I mean, not a hard punch, but a punch. Now, there's one of the right hands that Veretti landed a number of times in that round. Yet another one. I would think that might be the separation for these two, but we'll see. Sofia Veretti thinks so.
TBL fans, the winner of round 20 by way of unanimous decision. From the Miami Assassin, Sofia Veretti.
Mira, se la llevó Sofía. Se ganó el round Sofía, se la ganó. Aquí hubo una reversa, ya ustedes saben, con todos los poderes, mi gente. Acuérdense que ustedes vienen a disfrutar de estos bolseos para acá, donde Juan sabe todo deporte, a donde todo es gratis, 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 mi gente.
Juan Sabelo todo, deportes. Luces bajas, el ring encendido. Se siente el peso de lo vivido. Esta noche es pelea, la arena va a temblar. Dos esquinas listas, nadie se va a rajar. Guantes al aire, se siente la tensión. Es guerra en el ring, pura determinación. Desde la campana suena el primer round. Golpes como truenos retumbando en el ground. Sangre, sudor, respeto en cada acción. Orgullo en juego, corazón de campeón. Respira hondo, siente el tambor. Late más fuerte dentro del corazón. No hay vuelta atrás, no hay condición. Aquí se prueba quién tiene valor. Esto no es un juego, esto es boxeo real, donde el alma grita y no existe lo normal. Golpe tras golpe, rompiendo el dolor, cayendo y subiendo con fuego interior. Eso no es un juego, esto es una lucha sin fin, donde el miedo muere cuando entras al ring. Sudor en la frente, mirada feroz, solo uno se queda escuchando la voz de la gloria eterna, llamando tu nombre, dejando tu historia grabada en los hombres. Juan Sabelo todo deportes, presente en la acción.
Y estaba hablando para nada, mi gente. Estuve hablando un rato grandísimo ahí.
To finish out
Y estaba
the money
desconectado
round.
ustedes.
But he's been blanked.
Eso solamente se da
the
aquí
money
en
rounds.
Juan Sábelo Todo, mi gente. Con eso dicho, estamos ahora mismo 7-13 a favor de los Miami Assassins, los asesinos. Vuelvo y repito, los asesinos de Miami. Están ganando ahora mismo 13-7 por 5 puntos, no por 6 puntos, mi gente. Y veamos cómo se desenvuelve Miami arriba del ring. Ruiz no está relajando, pero está peleando con Juan Baraja, y Juan Baraja no es fácil, mi gente, no lo es. No vayan a confundirse porque el gobierno está tirando ahora mismo. Juan Baraja mete mano, mi gente.
I'm here with Fred now. Fred, we got 4 rounds left. You guys are close on the scorecards. What adjustments need to be made?
Well, we need to go out there and give this a little bit more. We've had some very, very close calls. They didn't go our way. Maybe a lot of people will think they went our way, but nonetheless, we have to go out here and get a little bit more. Every single round, we got to get more. We still got a chance. We got some heavy hitters coming up. That's what we're looking for.
We saw some great things early on tonight. What are you liking about tonight's matchup?
You know, I love the fact that my team comes out and shows a lot of heart, a lot of resistance. Even when we get some really, really questionable calls, I feel like they still stay fired up and still staying in this fight and cheering on their brothers and sisters throughout the whole fight. So I'm proud of that. So the main thing when they come out of the ring, I want to make sure that they know they respect themselves for what the body of work that they put on film. That's the most important part, not what the judges say.
Con 1 minuto y 5 segundos. El combate entre estos dos caballeros continúa.
13-7, and trying to put an exclamation point on.
Well, for the record, Nashville's won 4 split decisions and 3 by Miami, so they do have a slight edge there.
They've gotten their share of calls here.
And you and I can debate one of the calls that Miami got, but so in any case, it's gone both ways. Ruiz, when he gets on the inside, can do the work, and Baraja's trying to keep him on the outside. That's what it really boils down to in this match.
And here's Ruiz trying to mix it up on the inside, and again, trying for a carbon copy of their first matchup in terms of his late pressure.
Ruiz when he gets on the inside, he overwhelms you with volume. And your job is you have to be really a very good technician and precise counterpuncher to counteract that, because there's so much volume coming at you. There's Barajas pushing Ruiz back and using his own combination punching. Not everything getting there, but he kept Ruiz on the ropes with it. And then Ruiz would turn the tables and get on the inside. And there's that volume I talked about. He just keeps punching, and you have to counterpunch really effectively to get something done against it.
TBL fans, the winner of round 21 by way of unanimous decision from the Miami Assassins, Usman Ruiz.
So now up by 7, Miami winning it the way you like to, trying to pull away.
Round 22,
otro round más para los Miami Assassins. Los asesinos de Miami.
Lichman and Gonzalez, and this was a good highlight for
Recuérdese de suscribirse, de prender la campanita para que no se pierdan más eventos como este. Aquí con Juan Sábelo Todo Deportes.
You know, on the Miami side, he's one of those blue-collar kind of guys.
Under the radar type, but there's so many like him.
Yeah.
And we talked about this coming in. On this Miami team, you don't have a drop-off. You know, you have a lot of consistency with this team. And on a night when they got 1 point from the big heavyweight, everybody else has stepped up.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And, you know, Nashville has kept this thing until recently in this match close, because a couple people like Leachman and Langston, you know, have stepped forward to get the job done. And Josh Johnson for one of his fights. So, you know, they've had some people do some good work. It just hasn't been quite enough.
Well, what's the sentiment in the Miami Corral with the team up 7? Let's check in with Herman Caicedo and Sophia.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Herman Caicedo from Miami now. The score just keeps widening as the night goes on. How good are you feeling about the team going into these money rounds?
Well, excuse me. You know, it's close. It was close, and obviously, you know, you can't count Nashville out. They've always fought us hard. So I feel good, obviously, that we're ahead. But it was close for a second. It was within a couple of points, and some of our vets, you know, pulled ahead and did their jobs, obviously. One now, Unieski now, knows that we can't give away a knockdown or a knockout, so he's doing a little better boxing. And that's what it takes. It's a team effort, you know, it's not individual effort. So, yeah, it's I feel very confident, very good.
Coach, thank you. Back to you guys.
All right, and as he is watching his team do a blanket wrap in the money rounds, Herman Caicedo talking about the veterans for this Miami team, and they have been coming through for him.
You know, he talked about the situation, Unieski Gonzalez. Unieski Gonzalez is an attacker, but he's doing it differently in this round. Look what he's doing. He's laying out a strong jab, not rushing in behind it, which he normally would do because he's a power puncher. He's doing it in a more measured way, right? Knowing that he doesn't want to put himself in harm's way, and Leachman landed some big power punches in their last round.
He is protecting the team assets, making sure that he stays upright at the very least, and then trying to get a win. And at the same time, you don't want to vary too much from what you're doing, but you know, you're carrying the bucket for the team right now, and he's taking it all the way to the wire. It was a late, almost a late shot, but the fighters are happy with each other after.
Well, Gonzalez really got the jab going. And those jabs are power jabs, and that's what he really did. That was his power punch in this round. He didn't come in to try and land the right hand, which he has a good one, or the left hook. He said, I'm going to use power jabs, try and stay out of harm's way to an extent as I still come forward. That was a very clever and intelligent round that Gonzalez fought.
TBL fans, the winner of round 22 by way of unanimous decision from the Miami Assassins, Unieski Gonzalez.
Gonzalez keeps Miami perfect in the money round.
Money round will be at featherweight. Nashville, Shelby Cannon. Miami, Samantha Ginnethan.
And they fought way back in round number 3. Cannon got a victory over Ginnethan. A little surprising, it seemed at the time. Gave Nashville its last lead at 2-1.
Yeah, much to the chagrin of Ginnethan, and in truth, Ginnethan landed a lot of power punches in that round. We'll see. And knowing Ginnethan, she is a very big competitor. She's, you know, she wants to win every time out, and even though this team is way ahead, I would really expect to see Ginnethan still be very aggressive here.
Yeah, this is personal statement time. Now you want to at least even it up against an opponent that has gotten a win over you, and the beauty of this is that you get to do it on the same night.
Yeah, and she's having her best season, Samantha Ginnethan, so she doesn't want losses piling up. You know, that was only her second loss of the season, and she doesn't want another one.
Meantime, Cannon going at it with everything she's got too. On the inside, it's an invitation slugfest.
Yeah, it is. Shelby Cannon, you know, she got the win, and she's a 35-year-old who, as we said, has shown improvement during the course of this season. Now 4-2, and you know, she's the bare knuckles fighter coming in here to boxing that is, like we see so many boxers come in here and get better in the TBL ring.
This is a big moment for her too, as that looks like it was a slip.
Okay, not more of a push than a punch.
You're Shelby Cannon, and you're looking at, you get 2 wins here against the Golden Gloves champion. It's going to be enormous for your confidence. So that's what's on the line for her.
Both women exchanging good jabs, and there's Ginnethan, as she did in the first match, kind of trapping Cannon in the corner and landing some good shots that I'm sure Ginnethan would think, well, I did this once before. I'm doing it again, but, you know, what part of this don't you like?
Yeah, well, what can I adjust for you? She'll try for more volume. Good jab here by Ginnethan. Gets hit with a right hand. Lands a left hand herself. Cannon ties up. That was a little bit of a better move for a second.
Cannon looks a little bit fatigued at this juncture, but we'll see. She's still throwing left hands.
Ginnethan trying to load up for a big one. Gets good work on the inside. Tries to step out so as not to smother herself. And then finish strong. Final seconds here. Ginnethan attacking. Cannon with the bear hug.
Yeah, she's holding on at this point to mitigate the damage.
And the clock will intervene. So it was entertaining, just as it was more than an hour and a day and a half ago.
Yeah, Ginnethan, that straight left hand of Ginnethan is really excellent. And then when she gets Shelby Cannon in that corner, she really goes to town on her. Not everything landing, but enough, and good volume by Ginnethan. Yet another good performance from her. Let's see what the judges think.
TBL fans, the winner of round 23 by way of a split decision.
Oh my God.
From the Miami Assassin, Samantha Ginnethan.
That sweeping of the hand was not as definitive when you hear split decision. Wait a minute.
And lightweight, Nashville, Roger Hilly. Miami, Yiannopoulos.
So can Miami bring out the broom in the money rounds here?
Yeah,
what a team effort.
Pretty extraordinary that they've won every one of these matches.
Especially when it was a one-point match after 15 fights.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. And you didn't see that one coming, because honestly, you know, I looked at the matchups coming up in the launch rounds after the middle rounds were done, and we thought, and I said it, you know, Nashville had enough matchups
that they could feel confident
in this match, at least, and not to be so.
Miami has asserted itself.
And Napoli beat Hilly somewhat comfortably in their first encounter.
Yeah, Hilly could not get much of his offense rolling, and Napoli's was swerving coming inside, lands a good left hook there. So as it turns out, Miami about even ahead a little bit more than their first time. Well, it ended up a rout for Miami the first time by the count of 18-9. So again, the 9-point margin is there exactly. Just how we got here is quite unusual.
Yeah, exactly. Let me correct what I said. Napoli's beat Ray Diaz in their first match. It was Claudio Morera who comfortably beat Hilly the last time.
So this is a Miami team that's going to go into the postseason 7-1, and it's the best Assassins team that they've ever had. Now they're going as one of the big three: Philadelphia Smoke, Las Vegas Hustle, and the Assassins. Fourth place right now is San Antonio. That's an awful good top four.
Very solid team, San Antonio. Also, yeah, that is a good top four. And Miami, with this dominant showing in the money rounds, turned around an evening that wasn't looking, even though they didn't need to win tonight to get into the playoffs, wasn't looking like a typical Miami night this season, and yet they completely turned it around.
And even though they didn't need it, this is the last time they will fight before the Vegas brawl. So you don't want any doubts over the next month.
You want to keep the momentum going that you have.
And I think it's definitive for them that they win here without extra points at all.
Yeah, fascinating, because that's been a part of their DNA this season. And we don't often have a TBL match with no extra points.
Very rare, very rare. A handful of times in the course of a season. But we got there tonight that way.
Napoli's with a good exclamation mark on this for Miami. There's a double left hooks getting in against Hilly, who's kind of languishing on the ropes. Hilly doing a good job of attacking there. Roger Hilly is a very solid fighter. Though TBL record doesn't indicate he's 14-1 outside of that boxing. A very solid fighter, but tonight he's run into a couple of very different fighters. A lefty, Claudio Morera, then a big right-handed puncher in Napoli's, and has had some issues dealing with
TBL
that.
fans, the winner of round 24 by way of unanimous decision from the Miami Assassins, Houston, Napolis.
All right, so what a performance by the Assassins. Bring out the broom. They get the sweep in the money rounds. Back to check out all the honors after this.
Y recuérdense que vienen ahora los premios de los VIP. So, no se vayan para ningún lado, mi gente. Let me go see if I find some fuel over here. Oh, you got fuel? Okay. What happened? Oh, that's my fan. You have to hold the menu key and then lower my volume to 37. Did that work? I'll stay inside the truck so nobody comes and takes it.
War Memorial Auditorium here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Your final score, the Miami Assassins 17, the Nashville Smash 7. Here are your 3 stars of the fight. Number 3 star, Nashville Smash Light Heavyweight, William Langston. Number 2 star, Miami Assassins Featherweight, Samantha Sosa.
Samantha Sosa, como la podemos ver ahí. Segundo premio para ella, el primer premio para middleweight, para Ruiz. Y el round de la noche, mi gente.
Isaiah Elrod against Giovanni Estella.
Mi gente, y con eso le damos un final a esta noche, gran cartelera de boxeo. Cuídense y que la